Welcome back to the podcast. Formally, before we dive into today's hot political commentary, let me clear the hair right away. When I say PLU today, I'm talking about legendary Pan-African legal mind, Professor Patrick Lloyd LUMUMBA. This is not PLU, the Patriotic League of Uganda. So if you tune in expecting the MK movement update, so General Moses' latest tweet, you are on the wrong frequency, my friend. Today, we're dealing with pure, unadulterated diplomatic realism. President Yoweri Museveni and the Ugandan cabinet officially endorsed Ambassador Dr. Otunnu for the top job at the United Nations, the UN Secretary General position. While many in Kampala are celebrating, Professor PLO LUMUMBA went on the alternative digital and poured ice cold water on the parade, and quite frankly, the answer is 100% correct. Let's break down why through for the 4 key moments. First, let's talk about timing and generational handover. Otunnu is an elite diplomatic with a decorated history at the UN, but is having zero institutional sense. Listen to PLO break down the 30-year delay.
Endorsement of Dr. Olara Otunnu, whom I respect, is coming 30 years late. Olara Otunnu ought to have been the candidate at the time when Boutros Ghali of Egypt's term was truncated. Olara was then serving in the UN, and it is at that time, 30 years ago, that he should have been nominated to serve in the UN. This endorsement, which is coming, in my view, too late as an afterthought, is without merit. And individuals like myself, who are in the business of talking candidly, do not support the candidature of Olara Otunnu. Number one, it comes at a time when the Ugandan administration and Dr. Olara himself knows that there is an African candidate who had come much earlier, Macky Sall, whom I also don't support.
PLO hit the nail right on the head. In 1996, when Boutros Ghali stepped down, Otunnu was in his prime at the UN. That was his window, launching a campaign at 76 blocks, the path for rising African diplomats who should be building their legacy right now. Second, consider the diplomatic friction across the continent. Africa frequently sends fragmented representation to global tables, and this bit triggers that exact trap. Listen to how PLU lays out the regional clash between West Africa and East Africa.
To persuade the East African community to endorse their candidature of Dr. Olara Otunnu. And once again, this is the problem. We are pitting ourselves as Africans against each other. The West African community, ECOWAS, will now say, we too are endorsing Macky Sall. And then this other side will say, we are endorsing Olara Otunnu. And then before you know it, it is going to be what the Europeans love most: Anglophones versus versus Francophones. Is this what we want every time? I would have loved myself if there was an African candidate, that candidate is a single candidate who is endorsed by the African Union. But you see, the African Union is also playing politics. They are saying, we have endorsed both candidates, Macky Sall and Dr. Olara Otunnu, because the African Union Commission does not want to be seen to be favoring one side of the continent. And this, I think, it is the kind of thing that Africa should.
By splitting votes between Senegal's Macky Sall and Uganda's Olara Otunnu, Africa guarantees its own defeat, paving the way for a candidate from South America or the Caribbean, while the African Union plays safe neutrality. Third, what about Ambassador Otunnu himself? A seasoned statesman knows when a gesture is a poison chalice or past its expiration date. Here is what PLO says Otunnu should have done when Museveni offered the endorsement.
I would tell President Yoweri Museveni, Your Excellency, I thank you for recognizing me, but it's too late. I should have been nominated several years ago. I can serve in a different capacity, but I declined. But such nominations in proper order of things, and I believe that this is what President Museveni must have done is to have a conversation with Dr. Olara Otunnu even before he comes out public. I hope that that is what happened, so that Olara is the one who must have said, Your Excellency, please endorse me.
Yeah.
And President Museveni then hearkened to the request. So I don't see Dr. Olara declining it. He loves it. And I think the few interviews that I've seen, he's very excited about this.
Instead of stepping back to elevate younger talent, Otunnu jumped at the offer. Finally, why did President Museveni push this endorsement now? So PLO exposes the domestic political calculus behind the decision.
President Museveni is a politician, and whatever he does, there is some element of sleight of hand, and one cannot begrudge him on that. If you want to win a constituency, remember that Olara Otunnu has been an active politician, at one time a presidential candidate, and I'm sure his own constituency now says, oh, President Museveni is God's gift to the world, having now nominated our candidate. And President Museveni will not be begrudged, as I've already said, for using this to pull a political fatwa on his constituency in Uganda, and particularly in northern Uganda.
It is a classic domestic politics. It scores local political points in northern Uganda while pushing international bid that stands little chance globally. PLO LUMUMBA called it exactly as it is: candid, objective, and realistic. That's how show today, folks. Keep your eyes open and stay critical.